This is Project 678, and it covers why Ferrari believes 2026 could finally end their 18-year championship drought. Formula One faces its biggest regulation change in 25 years, and for the first time since the Schumacher era, everything appears to be aligning for Maranello. Lewis Hamilton has arrived at the team, Adrian Newey has departed Red Bull, and Ferrari made a calculated gamble by sacrificing their entire 2025 season to focus on what comes next. The question now is whether Ferrari has actually fixed the problems that cost them championships in 2017, 2018, and 2022. Or whether we are about to watch history repeat itself. Stick around to the end, because the answer might surprise you. Understanding why Ferrari feels confident about 2026 and why we are calling this Project 678 requires grasping just how dramatically Formula One is about to change. Fred Vasseur described it as probably the biggest change in Formula One in the last 25 years, and that description holds up under scrutiny. The power unit regulations alone represent a complete transformation of how these cars produce speed. Right now, Formula One cars operate on roughly an 80-20 split between combustion and electric power. But in 2026, that ratio becomes 50-50. MG UK output nearly triples, jumping from 120 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts, which translates to 470 brake horsepower from the electric motor alone. That shift comes with a corresponding drop on the combustion side, with internal combustion engine power falling from around 850 horsepower to just 540. The controversial MGUH, that complex component that troubled Honda for years during the early turbo hybrid era, gets eliminated entirely. And that's when things get interesting on the aerodynamic side. The drag reduction system disappears from the sport completely, replaced by active aerodynamics on both the front and rear wings that can switch between two states. Closed corner mode delivers maximum downforce, while open straight mode cuts drag by up to 55%. The cars shrink considerably too, losing 30 kilograms of weight, 20 centimeters of wheelbase, and 10 centimeters of width. After years of watching these machines grow into 2-ton behemoths, Formula One finally returns to nimbler machinery, and the fuel requirement jumps from 10% sustainable to 100%. None of this represents evolution. This is a complete reset, and resets create opportunities for teams willing to take risks. The question of why any of this favors Ferrari specifically sits at the core of Project 678. No other team on the grid operates the way Ferrari does, with engine development, chassis design, road car production, and hypercar programs all based at the same location in Maranello. When both chassis and power unit regulations change at the same time, that integration delivers an edge that customer teams simply cannot match. What most people overlook is how Ferrari's road car division feeds directly into their Formula One hybrid expertise. 1,000 horsepower flows from the SF90 Stradale's twin turbo 5.8 combined with 3 electric motors, while the 296 GTB runs an MG UK system that Ferrari describes as derived directly from Formula One technology. Knowledge transfers both directions between the road car side and the racing operation. June 2024 brought the opening of Ferrari's new E-building, a $214 million facility that expanded their Maranello campus by 25%. The Italian president attended the inauguration personally. The building allows Ferrari to manufacture electric motors and batteries in-house for the first time, supporting both their road car lineup and their 2026 Formula One power unit development. Their simulator tells another part of this story. Ferrari's Denisma-built simulator achieves 3 to 5 milliseconds of latency, while competitors operate at 50 to 60 milliseconds, and previous generation simulators ran at 150 to 200 milliseconds. Multiple sources describe it as the best simulator in Formula One today, and with limited on-track testing available, simulation quality directly determines how fast a team can develop their car. Ferrari holds a clear edge here. Fourth place in the 2025 Constructors' Championship also delivers an unexpected benefit, granting Ferrari approximately 15% more wind tunnel time and CFD sessions than McLaren during the first half of 2026. Underperformance last year paradoxically becomes preparation advantage next year. All of these advantages mean nothing if the organization cannot execute. And historically, that failure to deliver has been Ferrari's fatal flaw. Fred Vasseur assumed the team principal role on January 9, 2023, becoming just the fourth non-Italian and the second Frenchman after Jean Todt to lead the Scuderia. His track record speaks for itself. Sauber climbed from last place to sixth under his leadership, their best finish in a decade, and he co-founded Art Grand Prix, where his team won GP2 with Nico Rosberg in 2005 and Lewis Hamilton in 2006. Results at Ferrari show a clear upward trajectory. 2023 brought a third-place finish with one win, the only victory that season not by Red Bull. 2024 delivered second place with 5 wins and their best points haul since 2018, missing the Constructors' title by just 14 points. 2025 looks poor on paper with 0 wins and 4th place, but that outcome came by design, since Ferrari stopped wind tunnel development on their current car in April to focus entirely on 2026, earlier than most rivals committed to the new regulations. The technical leadership underwent a complete restructuring under Vasseur. Loic Serra joined as technical director for chassis on October 1st, 2024, arriving from Mercedes, where he served as performance director during their dominant hybrid era. Approximately 12 months of garden leave meant the 2026 car became the first designed entirely under his leadership. Jerome D'Ambrosio, the former Mercedes driver development director, arrived simultaneously as deputy team principal, and Vasseur brought in engineers from Renault's defunct Viry engine department, along with former Mercedes colleagues of Serra. The cultural shift might matter most of all. Vasseur said he wants people working as a team for the team, and he wants them to be aggressive and to take risks. Accepting that you will not blame someone if they make a mistake represents a culture change, not just a decision. Charles Leclerc praised this emotional balance, noting that Vasseur calms the team after highs and recenters them after lows, which directly addresses the reactive decision-making that plagued Ferrari during their near misses. February 1st, 2024 brought Ferrari's announcement that Lewis Hamilton would join for 2025, with Chairman John Elkann personally leading the negotiations. The timing reveals everything about Hamilton's intentions. He did not come to Ferrari to win in 2025, but rather for 2026 and the reset it represents. His first season at Maranello produced his worst career results by every measure, with 0 podiums, a 19-5 deficit in qualifying against Leclerc, and 86 points separating him from his teammate. But here is the thing. All of that happened in a car Ferrari deliberately stopped developing. Hamilton addressed the situation directly, saying he does not regret the decision he made joining the team and knows it takes time to build and grow within an organization. What makes Hamilton valuable extends well beyond his driving ability. At 41 years old, during the 2026 season, he brings experience from 2 championship-winning organizations to Maranello. Reports indicate he submitted detailed strategic documents to Ferrari management based on McLaren and Mercedes best practices. His words at the Belgian Grand Prix captured his mindset. He said he sees a huge amount of potential within this team, describing it as a huge organization with a lot of moving parts, and not all of them firing on all the cylinders they need to be. His job, he said, is to challenge absolutely every area. The personal relationship with Vasseur, dating back to their 2005 Formula 3 championship together, adds another dimension, since that trust matters when navigating a difficult transition year. Nico Rosberg captured the opportunity, pointing out that the big thing is the regulations are changing. He called that Hamilton's huge hope because it represents a reset where the car could be a winning car next year. Ferrari's opportunity exists partly because their competitors face challenges of their own. Red Bull finds themselves developing their first ever in-house Formula One engine with Ford as their partner. Team principal Laurent Mekies admitted it would be naive to think they're going to land at the top straight away. He called the decision to build their own power unit the craziest decision a team can take. February 2025 brought Adrian Newey's departure from Red Bull to Aston Martin, which means the 2026 car takes shape entirely without the most successful designer in Formula One history. Christian Horner departed in July 2025 after 20 years with the team. Sporting director Jonathan Wheatley left to become Audi's team principal, and head of strategy Will Courtney is joining McLaren. Reports indicate Mercedes developed a compression ratio loophole using thermal expansion, and Red Bull reportedly sits a few steps behind on this technology. Mercedes confronts their own difficulties. McLaren won both the 2024 and the 2025 Constructors' Championships using Mercedes power units, an embarrassing situation for the works team that supplies them. Their new driver pairing of George Russell and rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli lacks the combined experience of Ferrari's lineup. Aston Martin presents long-term potential with Adrian Newey's arrival, but he only started there in March 2025, leaving limited time to influence the 2026 car. Newey himself acknowledged their simulator needs a lot of work because it is not correlating at all at the moment. Audi's situation looks bleakest of all. Mattia Binotto openly admitted they know 2026 will not be the year in which they will be at the top, and they will not have the best power unit. Ignoring the counter-arguments would be irresponsible given Ferrari's history. Starting strong has never been Ferrari's problem. Sustaining development is where they fail. 2017, 2018 and 2022 all began with Ferrari looking competitive before they faded as the season progressed. Vasseur acknowledged this pattern by saying he does not think the hierarchy after Australia will be the real one, and the standings could evolve race after race because the rate of development will be enormous. Concerns about the engine department add another layer of uncertainty, with reports indicating key personnel departed for Audi at a critical development phase. Hamilton's age raises legitimate questions too. Adapting to new regulations and a new team simultaneously at 41 presents challenges that did not exist during his Mercedes years. Ferrari also acknowledged difficulties correlating wind tunnel data with track performance during the current regulation era. Their mid-2024 wind tunnel upgrade addressed this issue, but correlation problems plagued their Spanish Grand Prix upgrade that year. All of this leads to a simple question about where things stand heading into 2026. Ferrari's 2026 car passed FIA crash tests as of December 2025, unusually early compared to competitors. The car debuts at Fiorano in mid-January, with pre-season testing at Barcelona in late January and Bahrain in February. Double pushrod suspension returns to Ferrari for the first time since 2010. 50 different front-wing concepts have been tested by Serra's team. They plan to bring a race-spec engine to the first Barcelona test rather than a development version. Charles Leclerc captured the stakes when he called it such a big change and a huge opportunity to show what Ferrari is capable of. He said it is now or never, and he expressed hope they will start this new era on the right foot, because it is important for the 4 years after. Vasseur offered what might be the most telling assessment, pointing out that nobody can predict, and nobody predicted in 2009 that Brawn would be 4/10 faster than everybody after coming from nowhere. The implication lands clearly. Ferrari could be that team in 2026. 18 years without a drivers' championship, 17 years without a constructors' title. Their longest drought in history now stretches behind them. But for the first time since Michael Schumacher's era, Ferrari has aligned the pieces they need. The regulations favour their strengths. The competitors face unprecedented challenges. The leadership has stabilised, and the 7-time world champion arrived at exactly the right moment. Whether it will be enough is the question we will answer together over the next 12 months. Anyone who has watched Ferrari long enough knows one thing. When the stars align for Maranello, magic can happen. 2026 might finally be that moment.